So, guys, welcome to the goal setting workshop. So what we're going to do, as you can see, this is kind of like our normal format. The reason I offered you guys to come in live on this morning was basically to be able to, you ask questions, you say, well, I'm setting goals based on this, and what's the best thing that you suggest? You can ask questions, you can ask about your specific goals. That's why this is so good, being here live inside of Zoom and things like that. But we are obviously, you guys watching this on Facebook, we're streaming this live into you right now. So we have our normal format of what, why, when, and how. The reason we use that, not SMART goals, is SMART is a little bit outdated, and this kind of encompasses everything and a little bit more with the importance on the why as well. So guys, if you haven't got a pen and paper, please go and get one, because you're definitely going to need it. That's probably more for people on Facebook, because I know Nikki, Rob and Kerry are going to be very organized. There we go. So guys, what we're going to do, we're going to go through the 3 goals that we should have set at the start of the 90 days, which is going to be a metric based goal. It is going to be a feeling based goal, so maybe like self-confidence or something like that, and we're going through a fun or competitive based goal, because ultimately that has to be a part of it. If it's not, then why are we doing it? We can't just do it to see a metric change and a feeling, because then we're going to get stuck in this measuring a weight or a metric as such against, you know, how do we feel about that? And if we don't feel good about the way that metrics move, we're screwed, aren't we? And that's why we need this fun factor into there in some way, shape or form, to make something physically competitive, mentally competitive, whatever it might be. There needs to be a goal inside of that. And we'll discuss a couple of different options inside of that too. So first thing, by the way, ladies, and Robbie, if he's there, I'm not sure if he is, but if you have any questions, just shout up, okay? Just pause me, stop me, whatever it is, because you know what I'm like, I'll just keep rattling on and like throwing information at you guys, okay? So if you have any questions, or you want me to go through something specifically with you rather than me writing up on here, in fact, do either of you want me to do one of your goals up on here? No? Nikki?
No, it's fine.
No, that's fine. That's okay. And the reason we're a couple of minutes late was I was struggling with pens, so I cannot guarantee the quality of what is about to be written up on this board. This was a struggle. So first of all, let's go through metric. We'll go through the what, why, when, and how. And the importance of this is making sure that you think intricately, not just this. Okay, I'm going to get you to think beyond subsurface this morning, and that's what this workshop is supposed to be all about. Not just going, because I've given you the worksheets, I've given you the membership area, I've given you the incentive to write goals and do goals, but what we don't do is when we have our own time and we're not setting time aside for this, we're just going, well, I want to lose, for example, lose 2 kilos. Okay, great. Now, where did you come up with that number? I don't know, plucked it out of the air. Or, you know, the other really bad one is, I used to be that way. Okay, well, you used to be that way, and then you came to this weight currently, and where you are right now is a direct reflection of who you are and the choices and habits that you make. So what's really, really important, guys, is that this metric here, what, is picked not just because of a number where you used to be or what you used to do. It's picked based on what you want as the person that you need to become. I had this conversation intricately. Nikki, you were privy to a lot of this last night, but on the back side of the training, Kerry, if you haven't watched it already, I encourage you to go and watch the end of the training. If you're not going to catch up on the workout, so 45 minutes onwards, and you'll be able to see there was a really big deep dive into all sorts of psychology behind habits and all sorts of things going on in there. It's really, really important coaching stuff that actually took place for longer than the workout did last night. But this metric, this what, should be based on who do I need to become? So we're only setting this over 30 days. So this goal can't be monumental. It can't be like 10, 15 kilos, because it's going to be unrealistic for us to change as people in that period of time moving towards that goal. We're not going to be able to become the person that holds that 10 kilos off, are we? So if we said over 4 weeks, we suggest, a safe weight loss is 1 kilo a week, which means we adapt as the people inside of that weight loss too. We could say that. Now, for people wanting to gain weight, I do it far slower on the basis that otherwise you will accrue far too much body fat too quickly. So we average about a pound a week, which is about half a kilo, okay? So let's put that up. So if you want to lose weight, realistically over 30 days, a maximum of 4 kilos. Yeah, a little bit more, a little bit less, guys. It's absolutely fine, but it's the consistency in which we do. You cannot, okay, this is where the mindset side of things comes in. You cannot lose 2 out of those 4 kilos in the first week and then lose half a kilo on week 2. Because then you are fighting the roller coaster. Up and down, up and down. I know I use that a lot, but essentially you don't have any consistency if you lose 2 kilos one week and half a kilo the next. You have gone up and down with those metrics, those facts, as far as your calories are concerned. And that means it's unsustainable straight away. Yeah, that's why we find these calorie figures, to make sure that we are on point. That every single week, the same thing happens and occurs. And then your body, your physiology adapts, and so do you mentally, because it's not that much of a struggle, because it's only a kilo. And we don't miss that in the sense of weight loss. It's exactly the same with weight gain too. You don't miss it. You're not like, oh, I really need to put all that weight back on or anything like that. It's just, it happened. It was normal. And Nikki, you are the greatest example of this, because we were on the round table the other night. Nikki goes casually at the end of the call, she's like, oh, by the way, I hit my 90-day goals already. It wasn't like, yes, my 90-day goals. It was like, oh, by the way, Jace, hit my 90-day goals. I dropped over a stone and I've done that 10K thing. So, I was like, first of all, where was the fucking mic drop? And secondly, it just happened naturally, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what should happen, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody watching this. It should just occur. As you go through this, the person that you become is a person that hits goals, is a person that sets goals, is a person that's empowered to say, this is just normal for me. I set a goal and I hit it. I set a goal and I hit it, because it means enough for me to go through this process to change into the person that I need to become to get this goal. So to lose 4 kilos inside of a month, what does that person look like? Who is that person? And that's where we come inside of your why, because to be able to get to that person, we need to understand why it is you want to be there. And it can't be the past. This is going to be a new rule. Why not? I'm going to put dash. I might even add this. Oh, pen's run out. I might even add this onto the membership course, because this has been really important. Oh no, not the past. The pens are awful. I don't even know if you can see that anymore. But basically I've written up there, not the past. So we cannot go back to somewhere or want to go back to somewhere we were before, because that didn't serve us. Because if you got back to where you were before, you'd end up back where you are right now, because you repeat the cycle, because you didn't change who you were. Or maybe you did, but it just wasn't sustainable. That's why we're on this pathway. That's why we're on the Belief Beyond 90 transformation. Because right now, what happened to you in the past did not serve you. It could not become normal. So to understand how we lose that 4 kilos, we need to understand why. Now, here is the best exercise that you can do inside of understanding why. You can ask yourself, like a child would, why 5 to 7 times? So why do I want to lose 4 kilos? To increase my self-confidence. Oh, that's a good pen. Look at the color on that. Probably only last one or 2 scriptures. Self-confidence, okay? Why do you want to be more self-confident? Well, because, and then you start digging. Why do you want to be more self-confident? What does that mean to you? Why aren't you happy the way you are right now? But you've got to dig. If you don't dig, if you don't go 4 or 5 times, the first 3 to 4 whys that you give yourself are already subconsciously planted. Yeah, so the answers you give to this will already be there, and you'll probably know them. You might even be able to recite them and say, I want to be more self-confident so I can be better at my job. I want to be more self-confident because I want to be more attractive to my partner. So straight away, there's your second why. So attraction. Yeah? Or it might be a job promotion or something to do with your career. It doesn't matter. Okay, it's whatever's important to you. Then, once you've got that, attraction, we'll go down that line, okay? So we've got self-confidence down into attraction to our partner, for example. Why is the attraction important? Well, because me and my partner haven't been connecting lately. We haven't had sex, or, we've been arguing a lot. The relationship's breaking down, okay? So there's your next why. Relationship is breaking down. going to put ... because I can't fit it on. So the relationship's breaking down. Now, this sounds like a really silly question, but why is that important? And it is. It's a very important question. Because if I'd have answered that question honestly about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago inside of my relationship, what I should have said is because the relationship isn't important to me. But I didn't, and I couldn't. Because psychologically speaking, well, that's a horrible thing to do, right? But in that judgment is what ended up in a very dark and twisted end to the relationship. And what you guys need to ask yourself, if you're going down this pathway, anybody, I'm not saying anybody is specifically in this pathway, but this is what it leads to. And I know we're talking about losing 4 kilos right now, but this is how it snowballs. Because we end up, I just want to lose 4 kilos, I just want to feel a little bit better about myself. But why don't you feel good about yourself? Self-confidence. Well, what's wrong with that? Well, you know, I don't feel very attractive right now. Okay, if you don't feel attractive, you are going to resonate that negative energy to your partner, and then you're going to start having little fallouts, bickering, big fallouts. No sexual intimacy, which is vital inside of a relationship, because that's why we're attracted to each other. Whether that is personality, physicality, whatever it is, there is a sexual connection inside of a relationship, or otherwise it doesn't matter. Because we're on this earth to reproduce. Sexual attraction. And if that is lost inside of your relationship, there is a problem coming. And that's when it comes down to, okay, so there's a problem inside the relationship. Why is that important to you? Does that relationship mean enough for you, to make a change? The answer to that is yes, you have your why. That's why you need to lose 4 kilos, not because of self-confidence, not because you want to feel better about yourself. Does that make sense? Excellent. So then we come down to the when. Now the when is nice and easy for us because initially we can use this metric goal, 4 kilos, inside of 30 days. We've just discussed, you know, it's easy to lose 1 kilo a week. So we can actually say and write down on this 30 days. Now this goal, when you come to your whys for what you're going to do, might take just that little bit longer. By just losing that 4 kilos, do you think you can increase self-confidence, promote attraction, and increase and enhance your relationship just because of that 4 kilos? No, but you can do those other things, those whys, inside of becoming the person that you need to be to hold the 4 kilos off. That's what's important. Nothing to do with just getting that 4 kilos off, who you need to become. That's the power. So 30 days is how we can do the metric side of things. And obviously this correlates nicely inside of the feelings. And this is why we do a metric first. Then we do a feeling, because you will have great insight into this before you go inside of your feelings. So it might be that you think, actually, I feel like shit. That's probably not something you want to write on your goal setting, but you know, words to that effect. I feel like crap because my relationship's going down, or whatever it is. I'm just running with that theme right now. It could be absolutely anything. I feel like crap because of it. I don't want to feel like that anymore. And that's when you go through this framework and this process again. Okay, so when 30 days, because that's what we're doing for the next 30 days. Then we go into the how. Now, how do you suppose we do it? Well, first of all, you have a framework for this metric. So that's what's really, really important. So framework. But it goes a little bit further than just having a framework, doesn't it? Because as we all know, you can go on Google and get a diet plan. You can go on YouTube and get workouts. You can have a mobile app that tells you exactly what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, and how to jump up and down, whatever it is, okay? But how many people do you think succeed with those? I'll give you a little bit of a metric. 97% of people that start diets fail. And in 2 years following that failure, they put on more weight than they actually lost during that diet. 97 out of 100 people. That, ladies and gents, is not good odds. I would not. I'm not really a betting man, but I wouldn't put money on that. Not even on me. Framework is important because you need something to work inside of. I went through this concept last night with Kat, and it is basically the framework is there for you to bounce off of. When you hit the outside lines, you then start to think, oh, I'm about to relapse here. I'm about to come off course. So now I need to stick inside of that framework. The next thing you need is sustainability inside of that framework. So in picking your goals, so ladies, if you're writing goals down, and anybody watching this live right now, if you're writing these goals down, I've put a generalized framework in sustainability. What framework? If you're not talking about losing weight, you're talking about gaining weight, it's going to be very, very different. Framework is calorie deficit, okay? But inside of that calorie deficit, we also know that we need to give up certain food sources during the week until one point in the week to make sure that we're consistent. Our energy is sustainable. So how the framework and sustainability comes in is for you to write down. What is it? What are the choices that you've made consistently over this last month that haven't served you to get to this metric? What is it that you've missed? What decisions have you made that haven't brought you to be that person that gets that outcome that naturally, as we spoke about before, Nikki just rolled past her goals and then becomes into the next one? What has stopped you from doing that? Maybe it is that we just haven't set goals. Maybe it was that this was too long before we did this second workshop. Maybe it is that the suggestion, I had this thought this morning, ladies and gents, is that we need to do this once a month. Maybe in the first week of every single month, like the first Saturday of every month, so that everybody's off work, there's no excuses, whatever it is, and we can all jump on this and we can all do this together as a team, because it's very, very important. No goals, you might as well just jump in the car, not turn the sat nav on and say, I want to go to B. There's no destination. So there's no drive, there's no why, and there's no scarcity inside of it because we haven't got any time goals either. Yeah, does that make sense? Excellent. So how? Your framework is sustainability, and the last bit, which is where we come in as a community, a team, and the coaches, is support. Yeah? If you go up inside of the group and you declare your goals, guess what we know to hold you accountable to? Your goals. Yeah? And you know inside of yourself, if you, regardless of whether you want to declare your goals or not, for everybody watching, if you make these goals and then you're taking steps towards them, be accountable by doing some gratuity. Be accountable by getting support inside the group. So when you have a bad day, post up inside the group and say, look guys, I was supposed to do this today, but I didn't. I feel bad about it. But the lesson that I learned was this. You guys have all seen how supportive this community is. We are non-judgmental. We are here for you to progress. Ellie had a relapse, major relapse. And from just a quick chat to me, we formulated a plan and she's back on track to do her thesis, alongside of other things that she's struggling with, which I know she won't mind me saying. But the important thing is she has a plan. She's now set goals and she can move towards them because it's a different perspective lens. Okay? So the last thing to write down there, support. And for you guys, okay, it's easy for me to say because I'm the coach, okay? And there are 3 other coaches. I'm the head coach, I'm the owner of the program. So support is like encompassed in what I do for you. But how do you want to be supported? Ask yourself that question. Write this down as well. How do I want to feel supported? Do I want more workshops? Do I want more training sessions? Do I want, I don't know, anything? Guys, just think. Do I want more round tables? Do I want more stuff on the weekend? What is it? What's going to help you to help us to get you to the goal? To help us get to you to the end. I told you when you came, each and every single one of you, when you came inside the Belief Beyond 90 Transformation, you had 7-day support. Okay, and maybe we're just doing everything right. Maybe we're perfect. But we haven't had anybody request anything specifically except for Catherine Parsons, who said that we share a little bit more inside the roundtable. Nobody's come to me and said, can we run this? Can we run that? Can we do more of this? Me and Nikki, I know me and you had that conversation on Wednesday to say we should do a goal setting workshop and this is what we're doing now. But nobody's come to me to say, can we implement this regularly? And we have no problems. If we can do it, we will put it in. I'm not saying no, I'm saying we will find a way. Okay, if you have any resources that you want more resources, or instead of putting it up on the membership side, you want, because we are making this change over to Workplace. I know I've said this, but we are making this, we are testing it this weekend. We're making sure we've got different areas. So it's like Facebook, but even better. It's just us. And then inside of that, we have our own groups as well. So we could have a recipe section for you guys, so you don't have to jump over to the membership site or something. So we are open to suggestion on your support. And please don't ever think that we are not. We are here for you inside of this journey. And that's what's really, really important to us, is that you utilize our support in any way, shape or form. That's why we're doing a goal setting workshop at 8 a.m. Because this is what we need to do to make sure that you get to the result. Okay? So now, next thing. Moving on. So is everybody happy with number one, the metric? Excellent. So the feeling. Now this is where you can directly take from your first part of your metric, your why, because you've already gotten to a good side of the feeling. That's why it is created in a set order, I promise. It wasn't just like, we should do that. Okay, there is some science to it. So once you've got your what, why, when and how for your metric, then you need to go into your feeling and say what is the feeling, which could be directly down here from that relationship thing that we talked about before. So all you do is you move that feeling over into your what. Now this becomes difficult, because then you start to break down that why from before with why again. You might not get to 5 or 7 whys. Okay, you might really struggle, but for me personally, I got to 11. Okay, 11 whys. Breaking it down. And the best thing you can do is do this first thing in the morning. Ladies and gents, that is the one recommendation I will give to you, because you are in a different brainwave state, and basically your subconscious, your creative mind, I can't remember whether it's alpha or delta brainwave, where basically you are far more creative first thing in the morning, and your subconscious is running wild essentially, and what you should do is just blurt your subconscious thoughts back onto paper without judgment. That's the hardest thing to do. Ask yourself why. Why is my relationship important? Okay, why is that important inside of my relationship? Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? And just don't judge. Just whatever thought comes to your mind, as fast as it comes to your mind, write it down, then move on. Okay, so why is that important? The biggest problem we have is we start to judge ourselves. That's what stops us. Emotion overtakes logic. The logic is built inside of us. We know the answer to these questions, but we choose to suppress it with the emotion of, oh, well, that makes me sound like a bad person. That doesn't sound good. I don't like that thought. Well, that's your thoughts. Regardless of whether you like them, you can change who you are, but not the thoughts that you have. And by changing who you are, you will change those thoughts. So you need to lead yourself down the path of understanding the deeper why from your first metric-based goal through subconscious thought. If you have the time to do this, I would recommend that you highly do this and find the time, because it will teach you a lot about who you are and the direction and pathway that you're going. And it might be 180 degrees to what you thought it was or why you're going there. But that's what's important, is knowing and understanding us. Okay? Then you can obviously come down to the when, which again is going to be us, for us, 30 days. How do you change a feeling? How do you change who you are over 30 days? It sounds quite difficult, right? Maybe it can't be done. Yes, it fucking can. By committing to what you say you want. Just like 99% of people do when they come inside this program. I can't say 100% because there's been people come inside this program and not commit to the program, and one person hasn't even shown up, which is their choice. That's not a problem. Maybe it wasn't what they wanted. Maybe it wasn't how they wanted to attack their own goals, which is absolutely fine. But you guys are here and partaking and engaging inside of this because it's what you need to do. Now what you need to do is think inside of 30 days, how committed can you be to these 3 goals that we're setting right now to get to that point, to be a different person. Every single time I look back 3 to 6 months, I don't recognize the person that I used to be. I'm almost embarrassed by that person. And that is a great thing. That's not for me to judge myself from my previous past. That's for me to say my growth has been exponential and continues to do so each and every single time that I look back. That's the perspective lens that we need. Forget the past. The only reason it has a bearing over your future and the goals that you set is a result of the emotion that you allow take over and cause inaction, paralysis. Your inability to do something because you're controlled and triggered by your emotion. It's got nothing to do with the fact that you want something. It's got to do with the fact that you're emotionally triggered and it causes that paralysis. So to get to that point, you need to commit fiercely. How much does it really mean to you? What if somebody had a gun to your family's head? What would you do then? Now, I know that sounds really extreme, but how much do you want to make a change? How long do you want to live in this state of unhappiness, which you might have uncovered as a result of going through this exercise? How long's too long? How long's too short? If you could change it like that, why wouldn't you? All it takes is a commitment from here and here for you to say, do you know what? This is actually what I want. I'm sick to fucking death of feeling like this right now, and I need to make a change. And then you come into your how, and it's the same thing, except for the fact the details, the specifics will change. You still need a framework. Maybe your pre-frame needs to change in order to be able to change your energy and how you feel at the start of the day to be a better person for the rest of the day. And by a better person, I mean a better person to you, for your happiness, for your fulfillment, not putting everybody else first. Because everybody else only gets the best version of you that you give to yourself. I'll say that again. Everybody else only gets the best version of you that you give to yourself. That's it. So if you don't pre-frame, you're giving everybody else a substandard version of you, and that is your fault for you to take responsibility for. That's it. That's the fact. If you don't choose to take that time selfishly first thing in the morning, like Nikki's done this morning at 5:30 a.m. to go for a run, if you haven't chosen to take that time, then you're giving everybody else a substandard you. That's selfish. But it's selfless to be able to take that time first thing in the morning, to be able to pre-frame, to energize you, to charge that battery, to make sure that everybody else gets the happy, fulfilled person that they got into a relationship with, that they are part of inside of a family, friends, people, etc. That's what's important, is making sure that you pre-frame for you. So that's where the framework comes in. Potentially, you're going to have to work these details out according to your set specific metrics and goals. What is it that you need to do inside of a framework? Do you need to do more pre-frame? Do you need to make sure that you monitor the metrics of your food? Do you need to make sure that you don't eat certain food sources so that your energy starts to go up and down during the day? Do you know you're a stickler on the weekend for A, B, C, or D? What is it that you think might be pulling you away from the fact that you're losing out on this feeling that you truly want, that we've just figured out? And then it comes down to sustainability. How sustainable is it? Is the framework just too much? Do you then need to break it down, reverse engineer it, and be happy with half of that feeling for 30 days? That you might not make it, but is that you giving it your all? That's what I'm not saying that you can definitely, but you can make major progress in 30 days. Major progress. We, inside of our group, can complete what people take nearly a year to do inside of 30 days. Look at the framework you were delivered to inside of the membership zone. Intermittent fasting, counting calories and understanding your energy needs, how to train, what to train, mindset. Most people would take 12 months to even read about that stuff, never mind actually implement on it, and you guys do it daily. And that shows the capacity that you have to be able to complete these goals. And then finally, support. Again, how can we support you? What do you need for this feeling-based goal to be able to get to that point with support from us and the rest of the community? Declare it, tell us, message us. Let us know how we can support you. How can we change the timetable? What does it mean to you if you can make 3 sessions, not 2? What does it mean to you if there's an extra roundtable? What does it mean to you if you can do another weekly temple inside of the week? Let us know, because we are here for your support. This is not for you to undertake this on your own. That's not why you're a part of the Belief Beyond 90 Transformation and the community. Because we are here to burden ourselves with capacity and growth as people and individuals together. And finally, the fun and the competitive thing. This is where it takes a little bit of a turn from the serious and downright depressing sometimes, which is a good thing. Because if you know and understand where you're at, you can truly make a change. If you gloss over it and say, well, I'm all right, I'm not that bad. First of all, you're fucking lying to yourself. You need to stop. Because that's not what we do inside this program. We work in facts, not feelings. We understand our feelings. We manage our feelings and our stress. But we work in the fact. What actually happened? Why are we where we're at? Because of the choices we chose to make. So, after you come away from those horrible feeling-based goals, we can come into the fun and the competitive things. Now, what you need to do is make sure that this is something that's actually fun or competitive. If you're a particularly competitive person, not that you'd ever suggest it or think it from me, but I am super fucking competitive. Like, super competitive. If you tell me, like, I can flip this pen 3 times, I'm going to flip it 4 and catch it. Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't drop that right then. But super competitive. So for me, something competitive, like on that 7-day challenge that we did for 1,000 press-ups each and every day, I knew mentally and physically that would be monumental for me to get through. But it was competition with me. It doesn't have to be with somebody else. It can be with somebody else. But it's either got to be really fun that lights you up to say, this has got to be enjoyable for me. I want to do this. Because these first 2 are going to be tough. The sustainability, the framework, the support, the feelings of understanding that you're inside that situation isn't going to make you go, woohoo, let's set another goal. So what you need to do is make sure this is fun, or if you are particularly competitive, it makes you competitive. It switches that switch on, flicks that switch, and makes you drive into competition mode. Cannot stress that enough, because then you can go into the what. And when you go into the what, you'll have a smile on your face as you write it down. You're like, do you know what? If I can figure out my metric, which directly relates to my why and my feeling goal, there's no reason why I can't unlock the door to doing number 3. And that's what's powerful, because your capacity grows. Not from doing the event, but from being who you need to be on 1 and 2. So fun or competitive, each and every single one of you needs to write this down. Something fun, something competitive, number 3. It has to be something that means something to you, so that when you get to there, even though it might not be did 10K the other day, mic drop by Nikki, or it might be, I did a 10K. It doesn't matter. As long as you get that warm, fuzzy sense of achievement when you do it, that's what counts. You didn't cheat yourself to get there. You worked in the facts. You grafted and worked your ass off to get there. Because it was fun, because it was competitive. Then you need to understand why you want to do that specifically. I know it sounds like I'm a broken record, but that's why. Why? If there is no driving force behind the goal, setting the goal is something like 30%. I think it's about 30%. If you set a goal, you are 30% more likely to achieve it. Mentally, this is. You write that goal down, 80% more likely to achieve it. 80. But that's only from the 30 onwards, so the metric's not great. And then if you actually have a compelling reason behind it, you're hitting 90s. There is no massive data collection to verify this yet, but they suggest it is inside of the 90th percentile. If you have a compelling reason and can find a strong enough reason to change, you will make it. So that's why I sound like a broken record, going round and round and round, because the why is the driving force. You wouldn't be here if you didn't have a compelling reason to make a change. You might not even understand that reason just right now, but this is why we go through this journey and this process. I didn't understand a few years ago why I needed to make a change, but now I do. And that thought process and my capacity has changed as a person moving through that too. So then you come down into your when, which is 30 days. So think very, very carefully what's realistic but will challenge me. So Nikki, if you said, I want to go out and run 11K, we know that's bullshit. I'm not saying you should do another running target, but what I'm saying is like 10% of something that you've already done, is it really that much of a challenge? If you pushed, if you ran every single day, or you ran every other day, or you're in that mindset where, do you know what? Fuck it, today is the day. Not for dolmio or pasta or anything like that. We don't eat that shit. But what if today was the day for the running? And you just went out and you did it. You said, no matter what, I'm going to get this done. I don't care about the heat, the humidity, the time, people, anything. Got no running shorts. I'll go out in my fucking trousers. It doesn't matter. What if you just said today is the day to do that? 10% is not going to stretch you. So what is it that you need to set to make sure that you think, that was a challenge over 30 days. I needed to make sure that these 3 goals were aligned, that I was focused, that they were at the forefront of my mind, which kept me to my framework, which kept me to my sustainability, let me reorganize myself, reflect each and every single week inside the weekly temple to say, was my approach, was my framework sustainable? And then inside of saying that, you can ask for more support. How do you utilize and leverage us as coaches to gain further support to make sure that that framework is sustainable, repeatable, and the framework works for your goals? Does that all make sense? Good. So ladies and gents, if you haven't done this already, you need to go through this. If you've just been watching along, because the coaching inside of this is extremely important, the understanding, the concept behind it all, then what you need to do is go away now, get hold of the goal setting worksheet. I will try and fire this up inside the group as soon as this is posted up on. I've got another check-in very, very shortly. But if you want the paperwork for this, to go through this, and you haven't got it right away, I will try and find the Google documents to go through this. If not, just use something like this, guys. Get 3 pieces of paper, what, why, when, and how, and go through that framework. Watch this video, stop it, pause it, go back through it, listen to it intricately, and be honest with yourself. Find the truth that's lurking beneath you, which compelled you to make a change to begin with. Why is it not there anymore? Have you just made the wrong choices and allowed yourself to give yourself excuses based on bullshit that has led you to this point where you know you need to make a change? You know 100% that you need to reset goals. Or maybe resetting goals is just that thing that you needed to do right now because you've reached your goals. You need new goals. You want to relight the fire, whatever it might be. Be honest, be truthful. And for the next 30 days, guys, let's kick it up again. Let's go. Let's engage inside the group more. Let's change the timetable if we need to. We're going to make the transition over to workplace within this next month. Okay? So there's lots going on. Very excited, but we need to be focused. Absolutely laser focused. So ladies, do you have any questions? No? Nikki?
I'm just thinking, I'm really focused on the 29th of August, and that is not quite 90 days for me, but that's just before I go on holiday. So I'm kind of seeing that as my, obviously, I'm not just going to like blow it as soon as I go on holiday, but that's my kind of end of my 90 day. And so yeah, and I kind of liked that you called me out, even though I didn't say anything on my fun goal, because I was thinking, oh, I'll go for like a weekly 10K. Yeah. And actually now I'm thinking, oh, that's not good enough. I'm going to do something more than that.
Good.
So yeah, I'm thinking maybe I might have a goal to work out or run every day, and not including me walking, but actually more than that. Because that's doable. I don't think I can run every day. I think it might do my knees in. But
I agree. It's not good.
I could do a workout every day, couldn't I?
Yeah, of course you could. And you don't need to do what we do at 45 minutes. What's wrong with 10 minutes? You did a workout. You and yourself know, did you hit RPE 7, 8, or 9? The duration's irrelevant as long as the intensity's there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what hurts the most? I know it sounds horrible, but if you don't have 45 minutes to an hour to do a workout, don't create that excuse, well, I haven't got time, so I can't do it. What about 10 minutes? What about no break? Set a timer on your phone for 5 minutes, continually. Do the 4 most horrible exercises that you can think of, because mentally that opens doors and builds your capacity because you did something you didn't want to do. Give yourself 2 minutes, repeat again. 12 minutes, done. You'll struggle a little bit if you don't stretch after that, but it can be that quick and simple. That's what I'm trying to say. There is no excuse, is there? I've done, previously, when I used to do athletics in my teenage years, we used to do 11-minute continual circuits, finished. So we turn up to an hour session, we just bumble around for the first 20, 30 minutes, warming up, which we didn't really need to. We could have done some general mobility and flexibility, and then we could have gone straight into this 11-minute circuit and be done within 20 minutes, finished. And that was really high intensity stuff. 5 exercises, 10 reps of each, rinse, repeat. Very specifically calculated and tailored towards what it was we were trying to achieve. So there's no reason why you guys can't do anything like that either. So it's a really good point, Nikki. Really, really good point. However, I want to come back to the 90-day thing for you. I'm going to ask you a different question. So you say your 90 days ends, technically, give or take, with going on holiday. Where does your journey end?
Yeah, well, I'm totally up for continuing whatever that.
I don't mean that. Forget the program.
Okay.
Where does you, who you are, and your journey of who you're going to become, where does that end? And that should give you perspective lens on the choices that you want to make on holiday. I'm not saying have a horrible holiday. I'm not saying take everything away from you. What I'm saying is, the person that you're going to be in 5 to 10 years' time, what choices would they make on holiday? I'm not saying make all of those choices because you're not that person yet, but could you make some of those choices? And then when you come back, you feel like you've still made progress because once or twice you said no instead of saying yes. Once or twice you said yes where you could have said no. Maybe it's going down a flume or a water slide or whatever it is when you're on holiday. I don't know. You faced a fear, you said no to something that normally you'd say yes to, you made a couple of better choices, and then when you come back, you feel like you've taken steps forward. Not the proverbial, as we've all been there, went on holiday, we got to fucking reset because, you know, I've just wiped out a week or 10 days, 2 weeks, whatever it is. Now I'm back to where I was 3 months ago.
I know.
We don't want to do that. Because, but the question is, where does your journey end? And if your journey ends for you mentally at that holiday, is that where you want it to end? What choice?
Maybe I need holiday goals, Jace, before I go.
Well,
we can set some and I'll write them in the group and then you can hold me accountable to them.
Absolutely, 100%. But it doesn't need to be something monumental. Like I've just said, it can just be a couple of choices. And you can go back to the past for this and say, those choices didn't serve the person that I want to be and who I'm becoming. So I need to make 1 or 2 of those good decisions as we move through. And that's really important. And this goes for anybody and everybody. I'm just really glad you picked up on this, Nikki. Yeah? Because we go through these cycles, and whether it's relapse with a holiday or relapse generally, at the weekend or whatever, it's understanding the bigger picture because we need to delay that gratification somehow. Or otherwise we die early and with a horrible quality of life. Wow, where did that come from? That comes from the truth. Because it's our inability to delay gratification which causes a shit quality of life later on. That's why we associate with old age, Alzheimer's, dementia, crooked posture, unable to move, unable to exercise. When we know full well, I know an 82-year-old female bodybuilder, 82, and she's in fantastic shape. Me and Nikki spoke about a 100-year-old marathon runner the other night. So why can't we? Who are we becoming? I'm not saying we want to run a marathon. I don't want to run a marathon at all. Never mind when I'm 100, but who do we want to become? And then how do these short-term delays serve that person and that prospect of who we want to become? And that includes holidays, because that becomes a part of us. If you escape from this framework, when you go on holiday, you're like, oh, thank fuck for that. I'm going to run away from all what Jay said and everybody else because I don't have to fucking do it now because I'm on holiday. You're fighting it.
Yeah.
Do you really want it? Or is it that you just feel like you should do it? Or is it that it's just going to take some time and just making a couple of those good choices adds to that positivity of you becoming that person. And like I say, think 5-10 years down the time, what would Nikki, who goes on holiday for, how long are you going for?
Just a week.
So what would Nikki, in 5 years' time, what choices would she make on holiday at that point? Are some of those choices you're thinking about right now, having had this conversation, do they align with that person? Yeah, that's a lot of thought, or a lot of food for thought. But this is what these sessions are all about, guys. And this is what this live stuff is all about. Because it's incredibly powerful, because we get this perspective lens. And this is why you all need to be on the roundtable as well, guys, Wednesday nights. This is why we do the mindset training. Because that one question from Nikki should have given everybody a different perspective lens. Everybody. You know, I always used to escape to holiday when I was bodybuilding, because I'd have probably been on a long bodybuilding stint. I was like, yeah, screw all of that. I'm going to go and binge on the puddings. I'm going to eat all of this and that and the other, because we always used to go all-inclusive because of how the monumental amount of food that I used to eat, and I still do, but we always used to go all-inclusive, so we'd eat A, B, C, and D. We'd go breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and all of this stuff. And about 2 to 3 days in out of a 7 to 10 day holiday, I would be sick to death of feeling like crap. Energy up and down. We'd end up walking 5, 10, 15 miles a day. We'd end up finding local paddleboard places or canoes if we were by the sea or something like that. We'd go and find something to do some exercise with. We'd walk everywhere. We wouldn't use public transport. And I would end up, by about day 4, I'd be eating, watermelon for pudding. I'd be making much cleaner choices. I'd have got rid of the starchy carbs again. So I was fighting inside of that. What framework do I want to be? Where do I want to be? And luckily I had hold of my feelings that I knew to transition back. But that's what takes time inside of this repetitive process to become that person. Does that all make sense?